Hey, man.
I can't take
Are you sure it's good?
Oh, I'm positive right there, sparkling green. Oh.
Audrey, are you gonna do an interview?
No.
Oh man, I thought we was gonna do an interview. No interview? Oh man. Welcome back to episode 3, season 2 of Two Humans. What's the name? Two Humans.
Myself, Coach Derek. We got Mr. Thread.
What up?
We're gonna get this thing started off today. So, Mike, why don't you tell me a little bit about First Looks?
You are to rock and roll with that team you just put together. I just sit here and saw that team, and 4 kids were taller than me on that 7th grade team. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, their height don't necessarily mean that they're, but can they hoop?
Let me tell you a little bit about that 7th grade team. Just, all those kids are coachable. They ask questions. I had a young man at the tryouts. He came up to me, he said, "Hey coach," he said, "can you tell me what I'm doing wrong?" He was like, "I feel like I'm not doing this drill right." He was like, "Can you tell me what I'm doing wrong?" How many times you get kids walk up to you and say something to you like that?
I had one yesterday. I had one the same day on the other court, but before that, at least I hadn't had something like that since maybe 1st grade when I was coaching 1st graders in Canada. So you talk about these kids, and I was happy for you to talk about being nervous and how it's just a playground. I like how you told them that it's just pretty much a controlled playground that they've been given an opportunity to compete on. You talk about the backspin of where we started at Griffiths, not Griffiths, but at Lee. Talk about out there and how we used to play out there, and then now they're given an opportunity to do something totally different. Like we didn't come outside of Cattle Mills when it came to basketball at that age, but yeah, it's interesting.
Back to that 7th grade team though, you know how the past has gone, how we've had kids here and there. This is a solid team, and we're gonna go places.
Well, the one thing I liked about the 7th grade team, that it's always been back and forth for the last 3 or 4 years where you lose a couple players here, a couple players go there, but there's been like 3 or 4 of them that's really been standing on. You talk about, so I'm excited for them. What's your take on the upperclassmen? You talk about my freshmen and my sophomores from First Looks.
A lot of those kids are grown.
They maturing, right? I mean, and it's strange, man, like to watch these kids that you saw and known like from here. And a lot of people don't know. Some of those kids, like you talk about the Cattle Mills kids, they've been around us since before the beard, before when we were babies. I think they was in kindergarten. And you talking about these kids are now freshmen and sophomores in high school. And just from last year to now, you talk about looking like a boy, with baby face to a young man, and carrying yourself a little differently. So like even with the First Look today, this past week, I didn't think it was a whole lot of, hey, knock this off. Everybody knew that they came and they was coming to compete because the spots were limited on the elite team. So people, that's the main focus at that age. 7th and 8th, they just want to know if they make a team. But once you get to high school, you talk about freshmen, you talking about sophomores and on up, they want to know if they made the team. All right, so we got a lot to cover today, guys. We're going to talk about the rise and fall of Celeste Blue Devils. We're also going to talk about the rise and fall of Commerce Tigers. I think the last time we talked to you guys, we was covering Dodge Brown and Jalen Rector. They were going into the 2nd round. So since then, they both have had 2 more rounds. Actually, you know what? Celeste lost the 2nd round, right?
Yeah.
Okay, who beat them?
Martin Mills did.
Martin Mills. So let's talk about Martin Mills because they beat Martin Mills last year by 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's talk about Martin Mills.
Where do you start? It's a very patient offense. They don't force anything. They move the ball. They find the perfect shot. You know, there's a lot of teams who play like this, and they ran it pretty good. I mean, it was literally, they was holding the ball for at least 2 or 3 minutes a quarter, just passing it, moving it back and forth, hitting the back screens, scoring every time.
So, you know, that's what gets real interesting the farther and deeper you go into the playoffs because you see teams that don't have a whole lot of athletic players, but they got fundamentally sound players, and they're coached really, really well. Not to take any other team, but like Martin Mills, guys here, I think we mentioned last week. You know, they play basketball a little differently. So for us, I know when we went and made it 3 rounds deep, for us, we wasn't used to that next round. The third round is really where you get to strategize and start stalling and start taking players out of their mental game, start approaching players to keep them from scoring, keeping the ball out their hand, getting them in foul trouble on offense and defense. That's when you start seeing those teams being aware of who's the best player and how many fouls they got and where they're going to start that offense at and when they're going to score. You know, it's not even about, at that point, they're not even talking about running and gunning with you. They'll let you get your couple buckets and then they're going to slow it right back down to what they're good at. Is that what you saw
Yes.
this past weekend?
It was, that's exactly what it was. And, you know, it was just amazing to watch them do it. I mean, there was no hurry. I mean, I think at one point they might have been down 2 or 3 points, but they played like it didn't matter to them at all. I mean, they was literally passing the ball around, and hitting, like I said earlier, they was hitting the back screens. I mean, it looked good. Defense-wise, they played a heck of a good defense. You know, they put, you know, Jalen fouled out in the fourth quarter, early in the fourth quarter.
Looking over the recap, the highlight of the game, I saw where they was applying a lot of pressure. 44 from Martin Mills. He was in his head. You could tell, I mean, he was flopping prematurely, but he was also finding spots. As soon as Jalen gets in the air, he was getting up under and replacing himself right where he needs to get the call. So you can tell that was coached, that was part of their game plan going into that game.
And they, I mean, all around they played good team ball all around. I mean, you know, Celeste had that one, you know, I was telling you last time, that 1-2 combo between Jason and Jalen, and they couldn't get that going. I mean, Martin Mills, they had a plan for it. That's getting perfect.
And that's normally how it goes. Like, to be successful deep into the playoffs, you have to, your key players, you gotta count on them not being as effective. So they tipped off in Mount Pleasant and played Atlanta Commerce, and it was a very intense and exciting game. I was not prepared to film a game that intense. I'm thinking second round, you know, they probably win about like 15, you know, make it interesting, and then prepare for third round. You know, it was halfway through the second quarter, Commerce was down 9 points, and it was feeling like it was time to pack the bags, like, because you talking about 3 or 4 different dunks, buzzer beater threes, and them boys from Atlanta was firing on all cylinders. The crowd was packed. I mean, they was packed shoulder to shoulder, elbows to elbows. And I was thinking that Commerce was going to lose. It was in that moment, the next 3 plays that would take place next showed me exactly who Commerce was, showed me how mentally prepared they were, and how like they never mentally checked out of the game. They was calm as if they had ice water in their veins. Like literally just the whole entire time. They slowly took down, chipped the lead. Dodge drives in, hits a bucket. Then Sammy hits a 3. Next thing you know, that lead is cut to 4. And then they hit Swayze rips the ball from the big man for a rebound on offense. And there's literally 3 seconds left when he ripped the ball from him. Stole the ball, and in the same motion that he stole the ball, he takes the shot. Buzzer beater. So he had a big game, and I also got to see exactly what Swayze was capable of. I mean, he is a very athletic individual. I watched him take, we hadn't talked enough about him. I got to see the next 2 rounds of games to really get an idea of who he is and where he should be when we talk about talent in the area. So we hadn't done him a justice. So I mean, you talk about a kid that's very athletic, his vertical's high, can dunk, can throw it down, but also he reminds me of Dennis Rodman. So he's a grinder. So what he does is he gets the rebounds, he gets down ground off the loose balls. I mean, he's doing everything and anything. Putbacks. So like he's doing, I'm not saying that any person on that team doesn't get on the floor, but I'm saying like he's getting the high rebound, the low rebounds, flashy, but he can go coast to coast too. I watched him do some crossovers and go all the way to the rim, across the split defenders and take it up. Like I watched him do that the last 2 rounds, so I'm anxious to see what's next for him. And as quick as he is, I gotta think he has to be getting ready to run track or something.
From what I hear is, it's a pretty good team as far as, like you said, getting out there and everything. I'm curious to see what next year brings, and that's where I'll really be paying attention to.
And that's interesting that you talk about that, because they released the honors for the district, and I did not realize that Mathis, I think it's Mathis, that he is talking about number 5 big man from Commerce. He's a sophomore, so he gets newcomer of the year, and I'm looking at him totally different now. So I'm anxious to see how all these players and all these games be covered locally, how they compile and what the coaches think as far as when we talk about power rankings and talk about skill sets and talk about the skill and all-star event coming up. I'm anxious to see what things are going to look like. Like you said, talk about next season. I think that they'll do just fine. I think obviously it's hard to replace a duo explosive as Dodge and Casey, but I think the structure and the foundation is there from a coaching standpoint. And I think I think that they are going to leave such an impact from the 4 years that they was there, that it's going to speak volumes into the character and the content of the players that are coming up. I think Sammy, he got an opportunity to see and get shown the ropes from dad, but also coach, but also big brother. I just watched them, in the Edgewood game, the third round, in Prosper. There was a couple of times where I was questioning whether or not they were going to pull that game off. And again, you talked about how comfortable, how confident they were. They never stopped being basketball players. We talked about that in week 1. I'm anxious to see. I'm very excited to see what's next for the seniors that are leaving, but I'm also anxious to see the new duos form, the new chemistry, and if they can lead. And I think next year, I think we're at least back here talking postseason Commerce. I mean, would you agree or disagree?
Oh, I agree. I mean, like you said, it sounds like the foundation is there.
Yeah, but anyway, continue to laugh with us as we laugh at each other and as we continue to grow and evolve. I had a second grade going to me this past weekend, take my hand and take a picture with me. I thought it was one of my players. No, they saw us on